Welcome, Still Talking Uncut. We're your host, Big Easy from YouTube channel Philly Moonshine, Sean Rigsby, Master Distiller.
What's
How you doing
happening?
this evening, bro?
Good, good. Looking forward to Beattyville this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to Beattyville
Yes,
tomorrow.
sir. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I ain't ready. I ain't, man.
Now, I was really ready for New Stratsville, but then Beattyville's is 2 weeks afterwards, and it comes real quick.
Yeah, yep. I'm about ready to be done setting up for all this stuff. But I mean, Don and Teresa asked, if
Oh
we'd come
yeah,
back this year. Oh, absolutely.
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I just got done. I just got done watching Hooch and Shua's new episode of Untaxed podcast. It was talking about how they went down to the popcorn jam, and I'm jealous. I wanted to go to the popcorn jam. That's the one I ain't been to yet, and
Yep.
I
I've not been to that one yet, neither.
and I want to go, and I think I'm going next year, just because I didn't go last year, and it's right before Beattyville this year, so I had to choose: do I go to Beattyville or do I go
Yep.
to North Carolina? And then I'm like, well, I'm going to North Carolina next month for the jam, so I'll just go
Either
then.
way.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, I'm looking forward to both of them, man. I enjoy Beattyville. It's real small, tight knit, but everybody's so cool, man. You know?
Well, see, I didn't really get to meet anybody last year because we set up a tent and
Hmm.
then
Tried to hold it down.
the skies came through and just flooded us out. We were standing in ankle deep water, but the forecast for this weekend it looks like it's going to be pretty nice. So I'm not setting up a tent. Me and the wife are going, and we're just leaving the kids at my mom's. So we're having us a good weekend. It's
Hey,
going to be
that
fun. So
good shit, man. Good shit. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. So
yeah,
we,
this one's the Beattyville one. It's more geared. Seems like it's more geared towards adults. They got a big drinking section.
yeah,
They got a lot of different alcohol to choose from.
and they're doing
Uh,
I don't know if you seen it the last time, but they did a panel where they'd get up. People would get up there, distillers and moonshiners, and they'd answer questions and
oh yeah,
stuff
yeah, oh
like
yeah,
that.
Moonshiner panel. Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't get to see it last year. Like I said,
Yeah.
we wasn't there real long last year. It was about what 3 or 4 o'clock, and the storms came through. And
Yeah, yeah, I got
you
there early Saturday morning, set up, and it only took about 3 hours.
back at the hotel by 6, but it was still a good
Yep.
time. But yeah, we're really looking forward to that one this year.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep. And it's a nice little hotel. I mean, it's small. I don't want to say kind of old, but I mean, it serves its purpose.
I'm excited about that. That we got a hotel and same hotel
Hmm.
you're at, so we can hang out afterwards. And
Absolutely.
you're
And
going solo, so we're gonna go fall jam again.
nah, no,
It's
no. Might have me some bushlight apples and call it
yeah.
done.
Your dad Rick ain't there to help you around,
Nah,
get you up the stairs.
I don't believe he helped me much last time anyway.
He was behind you. If you would have fell, he would have broke your fall. You would have broke him, but he would have broke your fall.
Nah, that's all right.
So
So go ahead.
no, I know you was gonna ask.
So what are you
So
drinking on over
I'm drinking on some Hatfield McCoy. Where we at? There we go.
there? Yeah, okay.
Some Devil Anses honey whiskey.
Honey
Um,
whiskey.
I got this from the Hatfield Distillery in West Virginia when I went down to see Hooch.
Yep. Oh
Um,
yeah.
that distillery, it's nice, man. It's up on a hill, and just the scenery's beautiful. West Virginia, man, it's beautiful there.
Yep. I've never
And
been out to Hoochie's yet. I'd like to go out there. I
dude, you
need
let me
to.
know. You plan it, man. We'll all go out there. You keep talking about it, and I'm always the one that ends up going.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
you know how it goes.
Oh
But
yeah.
but we go up to Hatfield's Distillery, and you walk in, and dude, he's got like 40 different flavors for you to try, and then his wife's got a section over there where she's got like 30 different flavors of wine. So if you take the old lady in there, you're over there, and he's just letting you try this shine, and he's not charging you anything. He's just shooting the shit with you. He's a good old boy, man, good old
Yeah.
distiller.
Yep.
And 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 you're shooting shit with him, and then you ask him to show you the stills, and he takes you out back, and he's got a big old wizard cap, big old stainless steel one, looks like a wizard hat. It's beautiful, big old 300-pound copper pot. And first time I went there, he's running. He's like, "Man, stick your glass in that stream right there." I'm like, "Right out the worm, bro." I got to try it. It was, it wasn't. He was getting towards the end, but dude, what an experience,
Yep.
And so
Absolutely.
every time I go to West Virginia, I'm always like, "Hooch, take me to Hatfields, man." I go and I buy a jar off of him.
Yeah.
That's where I got old son. The jar of rye, char in a jar last time that he put a hurting on, or it put a hurting on him. I'm not really sure.
Well, it starts with him putting a hurting on it, and it just comes back for round 2 and knocks him out.
Yeah. He wins the battle, but that liquor always wins the war in the end.
Oh yeah, it's good going down. It's hard coming back up. But so I'm drinking on Tennessee Mellow Moon's cheesecake, McClausley's cheesecake.
It's many times since I've been over there. I haven't tried that yet.
So it's clear. You can't really tell because it's it's fucking cold, and it's 80.
So you like the liquor cold?
70 proof. Yeah, I prefer it cold. Well, depending on what it is. If it's like a peach brandy or something, I like it warm.
Really?
If it's a flavored like this, I like it cold.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just I like tasting the way it's meant to be.
Yeah, I had this discussion with Hooch. He always likes it warm, and I'm like,
you put yours in the fridge, and he takes that and leaves.
Yeah. Mine come right out of the freezer. So,
but this is Chris. He does McClausley's wood art, so he does a bunch of wood shit, like signs and stuff for a bunch of people.
Yeah,
and actually, he's going to be releasing another cheesecake. I think it's another cheesecake in August with the same distillery, East Tennessee Distillery. But I don't know what it is, but this is good. So if it's anything like this, it's going to be good.
Will the wife drink it? Will the old lady drink it?
Oh, yeah.
Then, it's sellable and it's good shit.
And it's 70 proof, man. Flavored stuff, I like 70, 80, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people like the 40, but, if I'm drinking something, I like to know that I'm drinking something.
Yeah, my lady likes it 40 proof too.
Drinking's drinking.
Yeah.
But,
with the lower proof, you can always, you can drink a little more. Like, you can last all night. Like, that's one good thing about the lower proof, like you're in it for a long haul if you're not hitting.
Oh, yeah. Or you can bump it up with some more clear.
You can always bump it up with some more clear. But when you go hard, high proof, hard, your night usually ends early or in a bad way.
Generally.
Don't ask me how I know.
Yeah. Strawberry come out of nowhere.
Dude, last time it got me, man. I slept on the back porch outside with my dog. He slept next to me. He kept me company. Old lady left me out there, and dog curled up with me. Man's best friend.
But she that's one of them. I fucking told you so.
She didn't tell me so.
I told you not to drink.
She was enjoying it because I don't get like that very often. But the only thing I remember, she comes out on the porch, and I look up at her, and I'm like, "Bring me 2 blankets and a pillow." And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, 1 blanket to lay on and 1 to cover up with. This concrete's cold. That was a good night. It was a good night. So yeah, we won't talk about Maggie Valley either. But while we're on the subject of high proof, we might as well talk about thumpers and thump jars, doublers, whatever people call them. Me personally, I'm a firm believer in running a thumper. I'm not much of a stripping run.
Me neither.
I've never been a strip and run and then rerun it type of person. Dogs in the background.
Hell yeah. So I'm the same way too. it's just a waste of time in my. Well, I don't want to say wait for me. For what I'm after, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. They're real big on run it, strip it down, get it all out from top to bottom, and then rerun it again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you run it through a thumper, that gives you your second distillation right there, and you wind up with a lot more in product by
Oh
running
yeah.
through a doubler than you do stripping it and rerunning it.
Yep.
And
Especially with one run,
150-pound
uncut,
dog comes stomping in here, man.
knock your ass out of the chair.
Yeah, he will. Uncut, he's an old man. Great Dane. He'll be 12 in October if he makes it that long. So,
Oh, okay. Damn. Yep.
But anyways, back to doublers and thumpers. Um, you know, I'm lazy and I don't want to do shit twice. Like I hate when I pick something up and then I drop it. I got to pick it up again. That upsets me. Like, damn, I just did that. Now don't get me wrong. If I'm putting together a piece of furniture, like from IKEA or something, I'm going to put it together twice because I'm putting it together and there's going to be one wrong piece. I got to take it all apart and do it again. And that's just the way it goes. I accept that. There's nothing I can do about that. But
now, don't get me wrong. I have ran things twice before. Obviously on Master Distiller, but that was
they made you run it.
Yeah,
twice.
3 times. But that was forcefully. The first time I actually did rerun something was because I screwed it up.
I was going to say probably because it came out terrible. That's just if I need to rerun something, then excuse me. If I need to rerun something, then I'll just I throw it in the tails bucket. Like, yeah, that's going to be rerun with all the tails. I'll just run that with the tails because it came out terrible and it tastes just as bad as tails.
Yep.
For me, like I think it takes too much time to run it all the way down and rerun it again. You could run it through a thumper, and my thinking is it's about efficiency. If it doesn't make dollars and it don't make sense, CENTS, money or knowledge sense,
right?
And so by running it through that doubler, it comes out the end, boom, it's good drinkable liquor.
Well, and not only that, but people like me and you, if you're using propane, you generally have to pay for propane, so you pay to run it again. So unless you're somewhere where there's they had fracking going on and you wound up with free
natural gas,
something like that. I mean,
even on the electric, you're running it twice. You're
paying for it.
Yeah, you're upping your cost and everything in your time. And like to me, it's about your time. Like if it takes we use keg for example, it takes 4 to 5 hours to run a keg one time through a straight arm or a thumper,
depending on who you ask, right?
Depending on who you ask, we'll say 6 hours for average between the highs and the lows, and
meet them in the middle, baby.
You're right. And so say it takes you 4 hours to 6 hours to run a keg straight arm or through a thumper because it's about the same time. So it takes like 5 or 10 extra minutes to heat up a thumper keg. And then at the end, you're done, and you can have your 2 to 3 gallons of good drinkable liquor, or you can have your, say, 5 gallons of spirit to rerun again. And by the time you run that again, you end up with a gallon of high proof good liquor that you've spent 12 hours in instead of 6 hours and 2 to 3 gallons. And that's just the way I see it. I would love to hear somebody else's take on it, because I can't hear your take on it because you think the same thing I do. So
I mean,
your opinion to me on this is null and void.
So the funny thing about that is, I've asked some people that I've told you, down in Kentucky, that's, what they do.
We have this discussion all the time.
And the only thing I really get is I've never ran a thumper. I just never ran one. It makes good liquor. That's
this is the way it's always been done. Yes, this is the way it's always been done.
Yep.
And I think you see that a lot in the tried and true guys. You know, like, well, this is the way my daddy did it. This is the way my grandpa did it.
And
Um,
there's a guy that's going to be down in Beattyville. His name's George Rose. You know, he goes by Pappy G. That's what people call him. And he's actually just coming out with a label down there at Neely Family Distillery, and he does the same thing.
where's the Neely at?
Well, there's one in Sparta, Kentucky, and then there's the new one that they opened. It's down there in
Now, I'm sure you told me this in a past episode. I don't remember shit you say, man.
Yeah.
So unless we're talking like straight liquor on how to do something, and I'll remember that. But for the most part,
yep.
Yeah.
Slade, Kentucky. That's where the new one's at by Natural Bridge. But anyway, so he does the same thing. He'll fire it off, and then he'll catch all of it down to say 10% or whatever, or 20%. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he'll rerun it.
I've noticed everybody when they do strip, they catch differently. Like I've seen people that come down to 30. I've seen somebody come down to 10. And I've seen people take it all the way down so it's like no alcohol at all because they're like, look, man, I'm putting the time in. I'm getting every last drop of alcohol out of this.
So speaking of that, he told me the other day that they ran off a 600-gallon batch, and they caught 170 gallons.
Now that's from top to bottom, right? It's tails
from top to bottom. Yep.
So they run 170 gallons
back through it.
But so like. I'm at a loss for words. Like I couldn't imagine not pulling my hearts out of that.
Yeah,
and being like, oh man, here's good liquor, and all these tails and stuff. So how many gallons did you say they ran?
600.
600. So I'm sitting here thinking like, I should get a fair amount of hearts. If you, say you wound up with a 10% yield, just for quick math,
60 gallons, I'd be cool with that.
And then, but if you run that 170 again, and say you wind up with a 15% yield, because the proof's a little higher, you're still not coming near that 60 gallons of good hearts as you run it through that thumper the first time.
Now, I mean, of course, he's gonna proof it down to 100, and I am going to get a bottle of it. It's a 9 grain. I don't know what it is, but that's what he's always ran.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It might be easier to name what's not in it.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so I'm real interested in what it tastes like. I've had some of the stuff that he's made prior to that, which was pretty good. And if it's going through Neely Family Distillery, I know it's good because he wouldn't do it if it wasn't.
And it's one of the great things about this is there's so many different ways. Like we got our way, they got their way, and at the end of the day, it all comes out magic. It all makes magic at the end.
So I wonder, is that a Kentucky thing? I guess that's what I was getting to begin with. The not rerun or the rerunning and not using a thumper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see quite a few guys in Texas strip and rerun. So
his name wouldn't be Moonshine Shua, would it?
I love Shua. Shua's real big on strip, and I really look forward to hearing his take on it because, to really pick his brain and hear him understand why he does it and what he thinks the benefits of it are.
Yep.
And I understand, a cleaner liquor, if you're just single arming, like if you only got a single arm keg, a column and condenser, and that's what you have to do, then that's what it is. But like, especially for kegs, there's so many things you can add in, like mason jars, for example.
Yep.
I think that's one of the big things that you're known for is, your mason jars, and especially old Rick Gibson, old Tennessee Thumpers.
Yeah, he's not worth a fuck.
Yeah, Rick's a piece of shit, man.
He's a piece of shit.
Piece of shit, Rick.
No.
I love Rick, man. Yeah, I learn a lot from just watching him, watching his videos, and how he does things, and just like you, watching you build stuff, and send things out to people, and you're always sharing pictures, and I'm like, man, explain what I'm looking at, and then you just explain it to me, and like, well, this is here and that's there, and like, well, I might have been able to see it better if I was in person.
I'm the same way, man. If I can't listen to what someone's thinking, I'll be on the phone with him and he'll be like, well, no, I'm doing this. And I'm like, that don't make no sense. What do you mean you're doing like,
draw me a picture, get out the crayons.
And that's exactly what he says. Do you want me to fucking draw you a picture?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. As a matter of fact.
So, funny story. I don't know if you know this or not. You probably do. So, Alan Bishop, he's the head distiller at Spirits of French Lake in Indiana. I consider him a master distiller. But anyway, that's on another topic. But
yeah, we're going to try to have him on here.
Yep. So, I went down to Maggie Valley one time and I'd got a system, and he ordered a system from Rick. He got a 4-jar or an 8-jar with 4 in line.
Oh, so you're talking about multiple jars, so it runs through each jar.
Yep. And what you could do is you could either bypass all the jars, or you could close a bypass or close a valve and open one, and it'd run through.
What's that word?
Bypass.
There's a big thing, man. I'm just making sure that
Yeah, I've been doing them lately. Okay,
you know what you're talking about.
More than I care to fucking talk about. But
if you know the inside joke, you definitely got that one.
So anyway, he got 4, and I got or he got 8, and I got 6. But anyway, so Rick is a dick. Okay, so I went down to Maggie Valley, and I had talked to Alan. He wasn't going to be able to make it. So the deal was I was going to go down there. I was going to get my setup. I was going to get Alan's setup, take it to him on my way back, which it was 3 hours out of the way, but, he made it worth my while.
Yeah, I mean, and, sometimes you go out of your way to do shit for your boys or people you respect and care about. It's the moonshiner code, it ain't about me. It's about us. And what can I do for you? And then in turn, I'm sure one day along the line, he's going to do something to help you out. And that's just how it is.
He's already, just the knowledge that he's taught me and the people he's introduced me to.
Favor.
Yeah. Well, when I went down to Maggie, we're tearing everything apart. I had my stuff with my stuff and his stuff with his stuff. Well, a lot of people don't know, but if you go to Lowe's for a union, you can get a 3/4 inch union at Lowe's that won't butt up to a 3/4 inch union at Menards.
Yeah, not all unions are made the same. Let me put that out there right now. You go buy a union. I mean, we're talking copper unions that join up. You buy a union from Lowe's. It's different from Menards. It's different from Home Depot. It's different from Ace. It's different from China. You order them. I swear the ones at Lowe's, they're bigger, especially the halves. They're bigger than the ones at Menards. And then vice versa, they just it's not compatible,
No. And the funny thing about that is I had everything separate and I went to the pisser. I come back and Rick had loaded my truck because the only thing that was different was the thumper, the single thumper, because mine was a 3-gallon that old Apache had.
Okay.
And his was a submarine, all stainless submarine pot. And then the only difference from that was the jars. So aside of that, the arms that went from the pot to the thumper was actually the same.
I'm struggling to follow along, man. You have to draw me a picture.
But anyway, my unions were from Menards. Same size piping and everything. Mm-hmm. But his unions was from, say, Lowe's.
Okay.
So when we got to Alan's house, or when I got to Alan's house, man, we had this shit all over this fucking field, dude. He's got like a 30-acre farm, man. We just had this shit fucking laid out. We're going around. And me and him felt like fucking idiots.
And, I mean, I don't know if you've never seen a Tennessee thumper still set up, it could definitely – it's a jigsaw puzzle. Like, it's an amazing work of art, but if it's all broken down into smaller pieces and you get them mixed up, you're just like, you you're definitely trying to shove a square peg into a round hole and
Yeah.
like, make
Wait
it
till you
fit.
wait till you hear Alan talk about this, man. I'm telling you, dude, we spent 45 fucking minutes just figuring out what the problem was, why they wouldn't fucking go together. Pretty much.
Yeah, like well,
And,
maybe this union goes over here to this
yeah.
part, or maybe this one goes over here to that part.
And this son of a bitch, at the end of the day, he goes, "Hey, well, why didn't you guys call me?" Well, why the fuck you think we didn't call you?
Because we don't want you to tell us we were fucking stupid. Like, we're dumbasses. I don't want to admit it. Like, we can't figure out what union goes to where. Like,
Yeah.
some things you don't admit to, like, until it's a final. Like, you didn't even admit to it till the next day. Like, yeah, we don't know what happened.
Even when I got home, I'm like, wait a minute, does this fit? Does this go here? Yeah, it does.
So
But I was like,
how long before he called you and said, "Hey, dumbass, you got my parts"?
he actually didn't. We got it all figured out. We set it up in his thing. Well, I was handing it to him and he was screwing them on. He's like, okay, this fits, setting it down the side. And then we moved to the next part. But man, it was ridiculous. Because I come back, I think, with 2 stills. And I brought a few other things back too. I can't remember. But what was really funny about that was I left Maggie and I went over the hill into Gatlinburg with my cousin Tracy was with us. But he drove separate. So we stayed over there for a day or two. I just threw a tarp over the fucking bed, hoping nobody stole any of that copper. But
it's nice when you can go places and you can leave stuff like that. And
yeah,
like we was down in New Strasbourg and this guy come out of the place like, "Hey man, I'm gonna get a keg off you tomorrow." And I'm like, "All right, cool." I gave him a killer deal, and I'm like, "I'm just gonna let it sit here overnight," and
yeah.
and at any time could he have walked down in the middle of the night, grab that keg, toss it up in his stuff, and I'd have never known. But he come down the next day and handed me $60 for it, and went on about his day. And
yeah, that's awesome, man.
It's really cool when yeah, especially where I'm from. That's sort of been gone.
Yep. Well, same thing with me too, man. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, go ahead.
With the mason jars, you run more than one in a line or whatever. You could pull some real high proof out of them, right?
Oh yeah. So I got used when I first started out. I started out single arm, and I didn't really know a whole lot. I was just kind of trying to figure things out and how to run and ferment and all that. But then I went straight to a jar setup, and it had 6 jars, and I ran that thing for a long time.
Now,
and go ahead.
Each jar, each jar is like a little mini thumper, and it provides a new distillation. At least in some people's eyes,
right?
And so realistically, that jar could take the place of a plate.
Yeah.
It's kind of like running through plates, just in a bigger form. Not such a small like in theory. Each one provides a new distillation, kind of like a plate does. But the plus side of the mason jars are you can use them for infusion.
Absolutely.
Mass infusion. Infusion.
Yeah, I mean, you've tasted some that came off of that one out there in California.
Yeah, was that Beaver Lick, right? Beaver Lick Distillery.
Beaver Liquor, yep.
That pumpkin spice. They had pumpkin spice. How many jars was on that?
8.
8. I thought it was 8. And man, he handed me this jar of pumpkin spice moonshine.
Rice. It was a rice moonshine. Yeah,
it was rice. And I'm like, man, do I look like a bougie white girl? What's up with this pumpkin spice? And I tried it, and my first thought is like, and it says on it, made with Tennessee Thumper jars, set up and infused through it. And my first thought is, what they put in this? Like I'm looking on the jar for contains artificial flavoring because that's what you see a lot.
Yep.
And I knew it didn't, but that flavor, it was just so amazing. It was like, it was so good. I went and bought a pair of UGG boots.
The funny thing, so when we were filming, and that was kind of the hope. That's what I was hoping for, because with them jars, man, when you put the right things in the jars, man, it comes over like maybe not so much the flavor, but the nose and the hint, that you get from an infusion, and that was just amazing. And the cleanliness that was run twice. He stripped that off. I do know that, and then he put it back in a 50-gallon pot and ran it through that.
Okay, so he stripped it off a big pot and then he
Yep.
ran it in a smaller pot.
Yep. And Chris is he's one of them guys, man, that knows. Did you got to meet him, didn't you?
I'm gonna say yes, but I don't remember because
Yep.
I'm Big
Okay.
Easy and I don't remember shit. Just let you know. And once I meet him again, like, oh yeah, how you doing? But it's so fast at all these places, and
Yep.
and then like when we was down in Maggie Valley, we started drinking at 10:30 in the morning, and it didn't stop till late that night. So
Yeah.
it's hard to
I
remember a lot,
I remember that. Yep.
But as far as like the smell and that hint in your nose, I'm a firm believer that if you can get that good strong nose, it tricks your palate into tasting that flavor.
I agree. 100%.
And that's one of the things with like my banana brandy, like that strong smell, that strong nose on it. It tricks you into tasting that sweet banana flavor that you're used to tasting. Because with like bananas, a banana that you pick up and eat doesn't taste like the banana flavor you think about when you think of banana.
Right.
You're thinking of banana candy, banana popsicles, to where it's just like, ooh, that's amazing. And so if you could get that smell in there, it really tricks your palate into tasting it more than what's really in there.
That and that banana brandy you make is fantastic.
I'm gonna make some for Maggie Valley. I'm gonna make about 3 or 4 gallons for Maggie Valley.
I need. So where can you get that vintner stuff?
Ask Shua. That's a Shua question.
Because that's easy way of making brandy.
Oh, super easy. Super easy.
You know what I mean? It's like making a rum.
Way. I like to do it the hard way. So
I'll
go buy my bananas and puree them up. And
while we're on the subject, and the reason why I'm asking about that, we had done a benefit over in Virginia at Robert Bondurant's, and he had come up with an ass load of raspberries, and we ran it through his 30-gallon pot through 6 jars, and that shit was amazing.
Dude, I really like the jars. I like how they look. They're amazing when they're running. It's more interactive, and just what they do, and that design, and just like I didn't know anything about mason jar thumpers until I met you, and you introduced me to Rick, and I checked out the stuff he did, and like I don't like to run them because I'm lazy and it's a lot of work. you clean up and all that. Yeah. I mean, not so much running them. Running's all the same. Once you fire it up, heat at one end, liquor out the other. It doesn't really matter what's in between.
Well, see, I never really believed that they worked as good as they do. Because beforehand, I never ran a thumper, and I'm like, okay, oh shit, I hit 150 without a thumper. Hell yeah, that's fucking great. And I think the first time I ran one, I hit 178 proof. I'm not saying I chase proof now, but back then I did because I didn't know any better, And I was like, holy shit, But the higher the proof I got, I'm thinking, shit, the more liquor I get, because once I proof all this down, or once I proof it down and flavor it, I'm like, man, I can turn 2 gallons into 5.
and through a thumper, it's like, man, I got a nice clean double distillation,
and that's, I mean, you get this. Go ahead.
When you're running those, when you're running jars, they hold that high proof for a lot longer and then drop off real fast. Is that how they work?
Yeah. Yep.
So they'll run and you'll be coming out 170. Let's use that for example. Like say you're coming out 170 and you'll pull quite a few jars at 170, and not like a traditional thumper to where it gradually drops in proof. Like
Mhm.
it wouldn't go from 170 down to 130 or anything like that through a regular thumper, but through the jar setups, that tends to happen because
Yep.
all those different distillations, it just drops off quick. Now, is that something you also see when you're running plates, a column? The plates. Does it come out real high at the beginning and then
Yeah.
drop off really fast too?
Yep. Yep. I believe I ran. Well, the one that I ran, I can't remember. I feel like it started fairly high. Almost. I can't remember if it was 68 or 178. But and then all of a sudden, then it once I got it dialed in, it dropped to about 160, and it held for quite some time. But when it dropped off, man, it dropped off in a hurry. I mean, it was just like jars. It'd go from 160 to 120 in a jar.
Now, if you're used to running, like say you're used to running a single thumper, and then you go up to the jars, and your yield at the end is going to be less, but it's going to be a higher proof.
So the one thing I have noticed with the 6 jar that I had from Rick is it sounds stupid and you might not believe me, but I could run a 26-gallon pot with a thumper and a condenser, and I could run a 26-gallon pot with that 6 jar setup on it and then the condenser. I would wind up with the same amount of liquor volume wise, but I would wind up having more after I proofed it down with the jars.
Okay,
I
so
don't know why, but I had another setup from Rick. I'll tell you on here, and I'll tell Rick it was a nice setup, but man, I had nothing but fucking problems on that. It may have been me, doubt it, but it is what it
it was you.
is.
I got you back, Rick. It was John. I got you back on this one, Rick. We'll just say it was John. Don't let him throw that on you.
I told him, man, I called him one time. I said, dude, I'm going to throw this piece of shit in the fucking yard. He was like, what are you talking about? It was my fault.
See, I had you back, Rick. I knew. I already knew. You probably hooked it up backwards or something like that. Put the thumper at the end or something. Who knows?
I don't know if the union was fucked up, but it just kept leaking at the union. I couldn't get it sealed up.
Now, did you try wrapping the whole union in Teflon tape?
That's how I figured it out.
All right. Like, hey, for those of you that don't know, man, if you don't like making paste or something, you got a leaky union, grab your Teflon tape, plumber's tape, whatever you call it, and just wrap the piss out of that union. Mm-hmm. It'll stop leaking.
Yeah.
Like a union, a seam, a joint. Yep. You just, if you don't want to mess with making paste and all that, you can grab that Teflon tape and just wrap it till it stops leaking, and it'll stop.
Oh yeah, but the best paste I ever did find out that worked well. What worked the best for me when we were filming, Scott actually told me. Well, he brought rye flour, and we took the rye flour and mixed it with water. Man, that shit was nice.
Because we had concrete.
Yeah, we actually all were allowed to use that on the show. And if you look back at some of the pictures I'm in, or I took it, you can look back here and see it. I've got big ass globs around the fucking unions.
Now, I would imagine they don't wrap their seams on them unions in Teflon tape, the threadings. So they probably all almost leak most of the time.
Yeah.
Because you're always, you're mixing and matching where they hook up to, and they always mold to wherever they got hooked up to first. And
well, it's not the threads; it's the actual union. Whatever.
It's like, man, put some Teflon tape on there, man. Instead of make you paste it up, but that's what they do.
It's cool.
What they say. So, I used my thump keg to infuse, and then I threw that infuser on top of my thump keg to really keep pumping that flavor through there.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's what made that peach brandy I made come out so well. Was that constant infusion of it? So.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be drinking on some here next 24 hours.
Yeah, I got something taken too. what was left that I didn't give you, that's going with me. So it's going to be in the container. We're going to have us a good little time. So, we're really looking forward to Beattyville.
Oh, yeah, man.
So, I guess, when it comes to thumpers, there's two sides of the fence. Some people like to strip and run it again. us personally, we like to run it through a thump keg one time. Gives you a double distillation. Uh, you know,
You know,
you go ahead.
I don't know if I may have told you before. I wouldn't mind trying it, out of a 50 gallon sometime. Just firing it off and run it off, see what you end up with, and then throwing it back in a keg. But just to see, like take the same mash, you know what I mean? Take two
So
barrels.
see the difference if you could taste like. So I stripped this and then I ran a small batch
Yep.
to a keg, and this is what I ended up with. And then I took this and I ran a 50-gallon batch to a doubler, and this is what I ended up with. Now let's compare them side to side.
Yep.
See if they taste the exact same. See if one's cleaner than the other.
Take it to a person that only reruns their shit, and do it. Let them do a blind taste test and see what they think.
And we might have to try that. Might have to try it, man. I'm hard pressed to strip a 50 down and run it through a keg and wind up with 3 gallons. Man, that pains me, man. I'm not gonna lie. Down in New Stratsville, ain't that what that guy at the distillery was doing? He was running like a 50 or a 50-gallon pot.
Oh, are you talking about in the distillery?
Yeah.
So those pots are 125.
And then he's stripping them down and he's running them through something smaller.
Through a keg, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
Man.
Yep. I know it's if you do it, it's a lot of work, man. I would assume.
That's why I see it as double work, man, and I'm not about double work.
I don't like to work in general,
but
I'm doing it twice.
Yeah, me either. And now if I'm getting paid for it twice, that's one. I have no problem doing it twice. I'm getting paid for it twice, or if I could charge double. But if I have to charge the same rate as if I did it once, I'm just doing it once, man. So.
Oh yeah.
But I fell in love with the Thumpers when I started getting heavy into banana brandy, and then I really fell in love with the mason jars. All the multiple distillations to make vodka. So realistically, through all those, you run through six plates or 6 jars, and you infuse. You've made a really nice, clean infused vodka.
Yep. So that's one thing I would like to touch on. You can run plates or you can run jars. But with plates, you cannot really infuse unless you use a gin basket of some sort. With jars, you can just infuse along the way.
Yeah, and with the gin basket, you're infusing once.
Yeah.
You're going to that basket after all of them, and you're infusing once. Whereas with those jars, each time it hits a jar. So every jar it hits, you're re-infusing new flavor and getting another distillation. Yep. Me personally, I would take a Tennessee Thumpers still 6 jar setup over a 6 plate rig any day of the week, just because of the versatility of what you can do with it.
Yep. Well, so a lot of people there's a real big misconception of the jars. I've had an issue lately with getting the incorrect lids. They're not there's a normal wide mouth, but they're not
as deep.
So there's problems sealing up.
Especially because you use those real high end gaskets on there.
Yep. So if you use the wrong gaskets, you'll have an issue with it sealing up. Or if you use the wrong lids, you'll have a problem with it sealing up. So
I've seen them run on the shitty gaskets where you just get the thin one piece of brown, look like a rubber band, and you put it on there, man. They leak like the Mississippi River, man. And then you go get the good ones they got the little L bracket on there, and you put them on there, man, and them things don't leak at all.
Nope. And that's what's funny too, because Rick told me that when I first got them. He's like, here's gaskets with. I think he only gave me like 3 or 4 at the time, and he's like, well, you gotta get the other ones. I'm like, whatever. So, and just to tell you people what kind of a guy Rick is, so I met Rick, and we got to talking, and I had ordered a jar system from him, the 6 jar. I paid him half up front. It was like $400 and some at the time, which was like a long ass fucking time ago. But anyway,
that was big money.
Fuck,
$400 was a big hit back in the day.
So
it still is, but
and the guy was supposed to bring it back up to Ohio. Well, he brought it with him, but they had a falling out between the time that he left until the time he got up here. Nobody could get a hold of him, and
Oh, so dude took your still from Rick, and then before he got it to you, him and Rick had a riff-raff.
him, Rick, and the other guy, Chris.
Okay, I got you.
So, and I think they kind of mended him and Rick and this fella. You know, I don't want to say names, but
Yeah, Rick will tell us all about it when we have him on here.
yeah,
We got a plan to have quite a few people on here because I know people are getting tired of hearing me and you talk. So
yep, absolutely.
I think next episode we're going to try to bring somebody else in.
Hell yeah.
And I also know I watched on Untaxed earlier where old Hooch and Chua talked about wanting to do a collab with you and I. So maybe if
Maggie Valley,
I think it'd be kind of hard to record a session in Maggie Valley. You know, it's so busy and
unless it's early in the morning, unless it's first thing in the morning.
Yeah, but ain't nobody hungover.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
So maybe Hooch would get good internet. We could all just join from four corners of the earth.
That, or when we need to do it when he goes down to see Shua.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, next time he goes down there, yep. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yep.
So,
but anyway, so before I want to touch base on the story again. Talk about Rick. So Rick called me. Hey, you heard from him? Hey, you heard from him? I'm like, no. He's like, look, dude, that's not how I do business. We'll figure it out. And months have went by, man. And I went on doing my own thing. I kept running. At the time, like I said, that was when and that was probably when I found the 15-gallon beer keg where it would attach to the column that I had. So I bought that and I kept running, And he called me one day. He goes, hey, man, why don't you come down to the jam? I'm like, fuck's that, And he was telling me, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll come down. He said, well, you come down. I'm going to make it right. And I said, okay, whatever. I figured he was going to give me my money back. I got down there. He goes, there's your fucking still, man. 6 jars.
hell yeah.
He made it right, And me and Rick's, I mean, he's a good dude. He's an asshole. People don't like him.
Hey, man, they're usually the best dudes, Like, he always treated me well. First time he met my family, he's handing them shirts and shit.
Yeah, and, even if it's, he's giving my fucking shirts away.
And then I sweated my ass off helping him load shit up on that Sunday. So,
yep.
Rick's a good dude, man. But so, we're heading off to Beattyville tomorrow. I think we kept people on here long enough. They heard us talk about Thumpers and raising the proof with them and infusing with them and, the pros. And I don't really see a con in it, but that's just my side of the fence. And I look forward to talking to somebody else who is on the stripping side. So, but
hell yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be in Beattyville this weekend. Sean will be set up. I'll be running around, drinking and having a good time. So
I'll probably be drinking too. I don't know.
Sean going to be drinking. I'm not going to let him get Maggie Valley though. He got no Maggie Valley drunk. I'm going to get him worse. He just don't know it yet.
No.
I got some banana tucked away. We're going to mix it with some strawberry and a little peach. He's going to have him a fruit cocktail.
Wait, you got strawberry too?
No, I don't. See?
I was going to say, wait a minute.
Oh, man. Y'all saw that, right? Y'all heard that? His voice lit up like he was talking about.
Well, so beside the point here, I did happen to message Van. I said, hey, you going to Beattyville, right?
There you go.
But he ain't. So,
like, dude, you got happy about that. That was pretty cool, man. Like, that reminded me when I was a kid and I was at my buddy's house. Like, you got Playboys? You got Playboys? That was Sean like strawberry. You got strawberry? That's amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out what that sweetness is in that strawberry at one point. But yeah,
But anyways, man, we appreciate y'all listening. Listen to our bullshit. Listen to us shoot shit.
Absolutely.
An hour. Listen to us. If you held on this whole time, man, we appreciate it.
More than you know.
You can hop on Discovery Plus and check out Sean's episode, season 2, episode 9.
And tell McGilla you want to see me again.
Tell McGilla we want to try Sean's liquor. That's what we want to try.
Not McGilla. Not McGilla.
All
It's
right, sorry. I
Sugarlands.
apologize. Tell Sugarlands. Everybody call Sugarlands. Tell them we want to try Sean's liquor. Send them a message.
Yeah, tell Sugarlands I want to try my liquor.
Tell McGilla we want to see Sean on another episode.
If not, I'm going to have to go find me a label somewhere.
Might be closer than you think.
Exactly.
But anyways, man, you guys have a good night, and we'll probably come back next week, talk about Beattyville and who got the drunkest and who had the most regrets. So hopefully it's Sean and not me.
I got no regrets at all, brother.
All right, I know you ain't, man. We're gonna have a good time. Just like
That's right.
we look out for each other, have a good time. So everybody shine on, have a good night.
Yes, sir. Y'all later.